to our Navy also. In addition to our civilian use also applications, but our Navy will be greatly boosted. We have seen in our Operation Sindhu that how important was this network-centric nature of the warfare, and because all our sensors, all and in the entire region, and the weapon systems, the platforms, they were connected together. And here, this CMS-03 and the indigenous capability to launch it put together makes a big difference. It's a big boost to our Atmanirbharta, and thanks and congratulations to ISRO for that. Krishna.
It's a big boost as far as the Atmanirbharta is concerned. Group Captain Vijay, we began by talking about that the amount of make in India that has happened, be it the launch itself or the components that went into the makings of this rocket, this launch, all of it. It's called the Bahubali rocket. Can you tell us, in terms of all the rockets that have come through India's space history, the importance of the Bahubali rocket and where it is taking us towards?
Yes, Krishna. I'll be very keenly watching the terminal velocity, the final velocity at which it is released from the rocket system. I'm expecting that it will be in over and above 10 kilometers per second. It is designed to be 10.1 kilometers or so. Even if it is slightly more, I will be more pleased, because less of the fuel is spent in putting the satellite at about 35,000 kilometers plus in the geostationary orbit. Longer will be the life of the satellite to live there. So for this particular load, 4.4 plus tons. This is the first time that the rocket system will be putting such a heavy load into the GTO. So I'll be very keenly watching at that velocity when it is released from the rockets. That is one. Secondly, look, since we are putting this particular satellite, releasing this particular satellite in the GTO, into which the perigee, I suppose, will be somewhere around 180 kilometers, that's the nearest point from the Earth, and the furthest point is designed to be about 30,000 kilometers. I'll be happy if it goes 30,000 plus. Then, in making the satellite absolutely geostationary in its entire outlook, it will be slightly lesser of the effort of the team, which will be augmenting the satellite into its designated place. Remember, for the LEO, usually we have a velocity of about 7.6, 7.8 kilometers per second. In the GTO, it is much less, whereas in the LEO, satellite velocity is about penta 2, that is 22,222 kilometers plus 23 kilometers or so. Whereas in the GTO, velocity will be just about 11,000 plus kilometers, 7,000 kilometers per hour. So velocity will go down, and that is how we expect maximum sort of potential energy to be given to the satellite by putting it much higher, maybe higher than 30,000 kilometers of the apogee, and 10 plus kilometers per second of the velocity. These two are the things what I am looking for. This Bahubali to give that particular life to the satellites, wherein it can operate for much longer time in case if it doesn't have to spend its many tons of the fuel in putting the satellite into the position. And last and over. Look, the implications of putting the satellite into geostationary is that it is always with you, 24/7. It is looking at you, it is serving to you. Other than the civilian application, I being the military person, and I have seen the communication network grow in India from those days of 70s to now what it is there. It is a phenomenal amount of achievement for the ISRO scientists to have come up to that. And mind you, 4.4 tons of the satellite, which has got the MEMS technology into it. Nano may be there or may not be there, but MEMS technology, which is a very small weighted chips. And so many of those systems have gone into it. I praise with the folded hands to ISRO that they have come to this stage, and I'm wishing that in the coming years or maybe months, even more achievements are being given, more potentials are being collected by the ISRO scientists in putting the geostationary satellite much above and even exploring the deeper space. So that is what I'm looking at the ISRO to do it. Today is a very small function that they have, and that is putting the satellite into the GTO at a spaceflight altitude, at a spaceflight forward speeds, and with that, we will be gaining much more in the coming days.
Okay. Mr. Ravi Kumar Gupta, I want to ask about the GTO that he was talking about. Why is it harder to place a heavy satellite into the GTO? What are the challenges that come with it?
Yeah, see, the ultimate aim of putting a communication satellite is to put it in the geosynchronous orbit. Geosynchronous orbit is more or less a circular orbit. But if we directly try to place the satellite into a geosynchronous orbit, the cost becomes very, very prohibitive. I mean, and we don't get any advantage also. Apart from that, we will be able to place it in the geosynchronous orbit much earlier. Beyond that, there is no advantage. So what we do is globally, this is the practice that we first place it in the GTO. And GTO is an elliptical orbit, as Captain Jha just now mentioned. The apogee is, in this particular case, as per the brochure of the ISRO, the apogee is supposed to be around 33,000 kilometers, and the perigee, which is the shortest distance, will be around 170 kilometers. Now, see the implications of that. When the satellite is in the apogee, its velocity becomes the minimum. Whereas when it is at the perigee, it is moving at terrific velocity. So there is a velocity change, there is a direction change to precisely place in that particular GTO, where ultimately when we have to place it, when we have to change its inclination slightly and make the orbit circular, the energy requirement should be bare minimum. So this placing it in the correct GTO is key to minimizing the fuel, and which this fuel ultimately is used for the longevity of the satellite. The less fuel we use now, the longer is the lifetime of the satellite. So that way it becomes very critical that we place it in the GTO very correctly, precisely. And once it is there in the GTO, it is stabilized, then the velocity corrections are taken place. Now, when we are changing the velocity of a particular object, it has a momentum in it. Higher is the velocity, higher is the momentum, so higher is the amount of energy required to change that momentum. So what we do is that we try to change this, whatever change we want to make, we do it at the apogee. So that gradually this elliptical orbit becomes a circular orbit with the minimum consumption of the fuel. So that is basically, and similarly the inclination also. Right now the inclination is going to be of this GTO, the geosynchronous transfer orbit. This transfer orbit, the inclination is about 21 degrees approximately, whereas ultimately it has to be reduced. Because we can't directly have the desired inclination because we are not at the equator. The closer to equator we are, lesser is the fuel consumption. So wherever we have placed our launch satellite, this 21st inclination they have calculated to be optimum, but now this will be changed to the desired inclination where the satellite will be finally parked for its ultimate mission and mission objectives. Yes,
right, Group Captain V.N. Jha, we're just about a couple of minutes away from launch. That's what at least the ticker timer seems to be saying. So quick last thoughts, even as we get set for the launch of the Bahubali.
Best wishes to Bahubali to inject the satellite into the GTO. That is the first wish. Secondly, I hope everything goes absolutely fine because this is a 3-stage rocket. First stage is the purely solid fuel. Second stage is the liquid fuel. Third stage will be the cryogenic fluid. So it's a combination of all those things. So best wishes to ISRO. Best wishes to this Bahubali that it delivers that payload into the orbit, into the trajectory, at the altitude, at the speed that we were just not talking. All the best.
I just have one thought just before we take, the liftoff. Even the movie Bahubali has gotten re-released, on this occasion to celebrate the launch of the Bahubali. So here's wishing, it's 1.5 billion people, more than 1.5 billion people who have their hearts are set on this launch, even as we arrive at the last minute of the countdown for the launch of the CMS-03, which is being launched by ISRO's Bahubali rocket. Heaviest ever satellite to
My
be
best
launched.
wishes to
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
ISRO team.
1
All the
minute
best
left.
to ISRO team, and all the best to we all, the people of Bharat, so that it is a success, grand success, and opens the door to more bigger missions.
Absolutely, it's the pride of the nation.
It's an absolute pride of the nation. Gentlemen, we are about, I think, 40 seconds odd, if I'm not mistaken, to the launch of this rocket, which is about 43.5 meters tall. There you go. 20 seconds away from the launch of the CMS-03 from
Hold your
Sriharikota.
heartbeat. Hold your heartbeats.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. S200 motors ignited, plus 5 seconds.
S200 बूस्टर्स का सफलतापूर्ण प्रज्वलन और LVM3-M5 का उत्थापन द्वितीय प्रमोचन मंच से.
We have a magnificent liftoff, the LVM3-M5 CMS-03 mission in the air. The simultaneous thrusting of the twin S200 motors is indeed a sight to behold.
GSLV Mark 3 LVM3 के नाम से जाना जाता है. यह हर बार एक कहानी लिखता है. पिछली बार हमने इसे चंद्रयान 3 पर देखा था और अब हम देख रहे हैं LVM3-M5 CMS-03 mission.
A clear Sriharikota sky and the LVM3 silhouette. Thrill and satisfaction together at the countenance of the witnessing ISRO scientists.
Sharp to engine main auto.
दोनों स्टेप ऑन बूस्टर्स S200 बूस्टर्स सामान्य निष्पादन करते हुए अपने उद्दिष्ट कक्षा की ओर बढ़ रहे हैं. यान को उद्दिष्ट कक्षा की ओर ले जाते हुए.
The Shah's tracking station continued to track the trajectory.
First stage performance normal.
प्रथम चरण का कुल कार्यकाल 126 सेकंड का होगा. तत्पश्चात S200 बूस्टर शांत हो जाएंगे और उन्हें यान से पृथक कर दिया जाएगा. इस कड़ी में अगला चरण L110 चरण का प्रज्वलन है.
L110 इंजन स्टार्टेड.
जी हाँ, इसकी पुष्टि हो चुकी है. द्वितीय चरण L110 चरण का प्रज्वलन शुरू हो चुका है.
We have a confirmation from the Range Operations Director that the second stage L110 has commenced its operation.
L110 engine performance normal.
The two Vikas engines together generating 1600 kilonewtons thrust in its high thrust version.
S200 motors separated.
रेंज ऑपरेशन निदेशक ने भी इसकी पुष्टि की. दोनों S200 बूस्टर्स को यान से पृथक कर दिया गया है. वर्तमान में L110 स्टेज, जो कि तरल नोदक पर आधारित चरण है, प्रज्वलित है और यान को उद्दिष्ट कक्षा की ओर ले जा रहा है.
We have had the separation of the S200 motors and L110 is currently thrusting.
तरल नोदक पर आधारित यह चरण उच्च प्रणोद वाले विकास इंजन की मदद से कुल 1600 किलोन्यूटन का प्रणोद उत्पन्न कर रहा है. इंजन की अधिकतम प्रभावी क्षमता प्राप्त करने के लिए इसमें ईंधन और ऑक्सीडाइजर का खास अनुपात में मिलाकर प्रज्वलित किया जाता है. इस चरण का प्रज्वलन काल कुछ 200 सेकंड का होगा.
स्टेज परफॉर्मेंस नॉर्मल.
The tracking station at Sriharikota continues to track and the Port Blair station will start to acquire signals at about
Payload pairing separated.
plus 200 seconds onwards. Now we have a separation of payload fairing.
जी हाँ, अब यान 115 किलोमीटर की ऊंचाई प्राप्त कर चुका है और इस वजह से यह घने वातावरण से बाहर जा चुका है. अब ऊष्मा कवच की आवश्यकता नहीं रह जाती, इसलिए इसे यान से पृथक कर दिया जाता है.
The payload fairing has been jettisoned as the rocket has cleared the dense atmosphere. There's no need anymore to give aerodynamic shape to the rocket or to safeguard the satellite against aerodynamic heating.
Plus 4 minutes. First stage performance normal.
L110 स्टेज वर्तमान में प्रज्वलनरत है.
And there we go. History created. Heaviest ever satellite launched by India from India. The CMS-03 launched by the LVM3, the Bahubali rocket. The first stage of the launch is normal. It's successful is the word coming in from ISRO as we heard it live. Mr. Ravi Kumar Gupta, there we go. Jubilation time. A perfect launch. It's taken. It's what the commentary described as magnificent liftoff.
Yes, definitely. This, as I can see, and as we all can see, it looks like a typical copy book launch. I mean, the entire launch process going as planned, meticulously, second by second, millisecond by millisecond. So it's a big achievement, a great achievement. And very few countries in the world have this kind of capabilities. And I have all the best wishes to the ISRO for this mission and for the future missions also. We have mastered this technology over a period of time, and today we are fully confident. Let me just remind you that this is the 5th operational launch of the LVM. Total 7 launches were there. In just 2 launches, this perfected it. And now 5 operational launches have already taken place. So most of the people across the world, even the developed nations, they have to conduct 5, 6 or 7 launches before their engine becomes, their launch vehicle becomes operational. We did it in just 2 launches. So that speaks volumes about the technological competence of our scientists. They carry out not just this expensive experiment, but also detailed simulations and minimizing the number of launches and achieving what is required to be achieved in minimum number of launches. So where we can see it is right now it is behaving perfectly fine as planned, and very soon we will be seeing the separation of the satellite and placing it in the GTO. Yes, Krishna.
Very soon, Group Captain V.N. Jha, we will be witnessing the placing of the satellite on the geosynchronous transfer orbit or GTO. Your thoughts on the launch?
Absolutely. There is no doubt at all, because while Mr. Ravi Gupta was talking, I had seen in the animation that the second stage had already separated and the cryo stage that had already ignited. So once the cryo stage is ignited and it remains ignited, keeps on thrusting the velocity further and further, it is just a matter of time that we will see the altitude and the inertial velocity, what I was mentioning to you, that I am looking forward to the velocity to reach in excess of 10 kilometers. Remember, for the Earth's gravity, the escape velocity is 11.2 meters. So below 11.2 meters, you can separate this satellite at any given velocity. So that subsequently, when the maneuvers are conducted, mostly it will be the apogee motor functions to make the elliptical orbit into the complete circular of the GTO. So when that effort is being done, least of the energy of the satellite core satellite vehicle is spent. So that is where right now I am looking at very eagerly at what is velocity.
Okay, we continue to track this historic launch, but for now we wrap things up. Mr. Ravi Kumar Gupta, former Director DRDO, Group Captain V.N. Jha, former Joint Director DRDO and aerospace expert. Thank you both of you for taking time out to be with us here on News 9. And with that, it's a wrap here from my side. Thank you so much for watching. This is Krishna Kumar signing off.
Co-powered by Hetic Sliding System, smooth, silent, seamless. पता है टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस आपकी फैमिली के लिए कितना जरूरी